Cryptocurrency ownership is something that humanity isn't exactly used to. Essentially, it's a key and lock system, with the key being very specific and the lock being basically unbreakable. As a society, we're still trying to figure out how to exactly secure those keys. There are three basic types of storage for your private keys. Cold storage, which is technically quite challenging to do and quite cumbersome for most people, but is arguably the most secure of the options we have available today. The second one is hot storage, where your key lives on a machine exposed to the public internet. This is typically far less cumbersome, but considerably less safe than cold storage. The third option you have is to outsource your key storage, typically to an exchange or a trusted wallet provider. In this instance, you are trusting that third party to secure your keys and a heck of a lot of other people's keys. This is probably the least cumbersome, and we're already used to using just usernames and passwords, but unfortunately, it's also the least safe. To give you an idea, something like, I think, close on 10% of all Ether has been stolen. Some of it has been restored. I think recently we had about 1% of all Ether lost through a faulty smart contract. About 20% of all Bitcoins in existence have actually been stolen at some point, depending on how you calculate that. And approximately another 20% of all Bitcoins in existence at some point have, or we estimate now, the keys are permanently lost to.
If blockchain and cryptocurrency do nothing else except facilitate global payments anonymously for free instantly, which is where we are today, then that's already just completely changed the world.
One of the problems with the traditional ways that you manage blockchain now is that it brings that technical level to the fore. You have to now deal with technical complexities, things that you're not used to knowing or using. And this creates a problem for people to adopt the technology.
Now, the advantage of outsourcing to somebody else is they can offer you some benefits that you used to in a traditional bank account, for example. Like, if you do lose your credentials on how to access your account, you can recover that. Outsourcing the management of your funds puts you at risk for that management company to either commit some fraud or be hacked in some way. And we've seen a few examples of this, where, for example, Mt. Gox completely fell apart, and the people who had funds on that exchange at that stage didn't get any of their money back to this day yet. The other issue that you do have is you are exposed to governments as well. An example of this was BTCE. With BTCE, the website was seized by the FBI, and once again, all deposit holders with them lost all their funds in the process. The counterexample to this is you manage your own funds, but then you do not get any of these conveniences that you are used to getting from traditional bank accounts. There is no spending limits. If somebody do compromise your security keys at this stage, they can in one transaction clear your entire account. The other thing is that if you forget your credentials, there's no way of recovering your credentials.
Technology has become so part of our lives that we don't even realize that we're using it. People are used to these kinds of experiences. Online banking today does not require you to have a knowledge about how the cryptography behind it works, or to have an intimate knowledge about all the systems behind it that make it possible. We believe the same should be true for blockchain technologies.
Now, what Octo Vault does is it bridges this gap of the convenience that you were used to in normal accounts versus your self-stewardship of your own funds. It gives you a mechanism of adding spending limits so that if your account gets compromised, you do not have full loss of all your funds, but you limit the loss in the funds in that, and you can freeze your account. And then it also provides you with different mechanisms of going about to recover your funds in the event of where you either forgot your credentials or your account was compromised by a malicious attacker. Octobase has no bearing on your account whatsoever. We cannot freeze your account. We do not own any of your funds. And as such, any governmental pressures put on us or any hack attempts against us cannot compromise your funds at all. There are a few mechanisms in which we accomplish this. One of the mechanisms is that you have a trusted panel that you yourself appoint. You select a few people, they also have a vault, and you say, in the event I lose my password or if I were compromised, these panel of trusted people may attest to the fact that I am in fact the proper owner of this account, and then have the funds be restored to you. These individuals that you have selected to put on your trust panel do not have any ability to spend any of your funds. The only power that they have is to attest to whether you are in fact the proper owner of that account or not. And they have to be in some form of consensus that you agree to, either a unanimous vote or a majority vote. Your trust panel don't need to be other people. It can be some of your other accounts that you personally control as well. And then you can use these accounts to go about recovering one of your compromised accounts.
In the unfortunate event that there is a death in the family, with your whole family set up on Octo Vault, this will enable you to make sure that everyone is still looked after. They have access to the funds in their account through the will and estate planning that we have in Octo Vault. Our aim is to make Octo Vault a wallet so simple that even your granny can use it. Your mother can even help her bridge club to set up their own Octo Vault accounts.
Octobase will help more users safely access the blockchain.
Octobase will make interactions with blockchain technology seamless and intuitive.
Octobase is going to be creating a system where you decide who you trust. You don't need to trust an institution that you don't want to trust. You don't need to trust a person you don't want to trust. You decide. You've got decision-making power again.
One of the big challenges with adoption of blockchain at the moment is accessibility. It's a personal mission of myself that I want us to solve this problem within keeping with the open permissionless access ethos of blockchain.